Right. Welcome back to another live. I'm so happy to be here to do another YouTube and Facebook Live. And I'm excited to have Katrina on, but we're going to give people a few minutes to come on. And while we're giving people a few minutes to come on, I just have to say, this has been a busy week and a busy day for me today. So by the time I was sending your flyers to people today, they were like, for this live, they were like, what you do, like 5 lives a day? And I was like, it really feels like it today. I did one on Monday, I did one on Tuesday, I did one, and then 2 today. And yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It'll be weeks like that sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like that, and sometimes it might be a week with nothing. So welcome.
Exactly. Balance is key.
Balance, yes. So thank you for those who are coming on. Welcome to Prandada Prim's YouTube channel, your channel for all things Tantra and sex ed. And I do this every Wednesday on Facebook and YouTube. I always try to bring on different people, some of them that I know and I feel like are amazing. Others I just kind of know from social media, so I haven't really talked to. But Katrina, we met through we have a teacher in common, Tafari from Shakti Pache Tantra. And so the little bit that I've talked to her, she's great, amazing. So I'm going to get to know her a little bit more. So welcome. So as you're coming on, say hello. Let me know, because this live is on both Facebook and YouTube. So say hello. Let us know if you have any questions. Feel free to ask whatever questions you might have about how to take care of your yoni. Yoni is a Sanskrit word for vagina, how to love your yoni, pelvic health. We're going to be getting into all of that. So, Katrina, would you like to just go ahead and introduce yourself?
Okay, sure. Okay. I am Katrina. I'm in the sunny island of Barbados, and that's where I was born, bred, raised. That's where I live. And I am a sensual empowerment coach and the creatrix of a system called Orgasmik Intelligence. I'm also a certified massage therapist. I'm also a Tantra masteress. I also am a women's pelvic health coach and a communication specialist. I saw you when you in your title, you were like, you thought in your caption today, you said, and I thought I had many titles. Yes. As we grow, as we age and we gain more and more experience, hey, that's what happens, they pile on. So I embrace them all, I merge them all together, and just bring them out in my work and in my writing and what I do. But all of them, the seed of all of them is authenticity, who Katrina is. I'm also a mother of 4 beautiful grown children. No more babies, but they'll always be my babies. And I got into this. Do you want me to go into my history or not quite as yet?
Yeah, you can, but let me just say hello really quick. Hello, Yoni Tree. Thank you for sending a message. So, yeah, I'd love to hear. So wait, before you go into the history, I do want to say, like you said, that's so true. As we're growing, as we're evolving and we're learning different things, yes, we start having all of these different titles, right? Because like me, when I'm saying my name, it's like this, and this, and everything. So I had to write yours down. I'm like, wow, I thought I had a lot of titles. So, like, okay, what can be one title that really includes it all or really embrace it all? And I haven't found that yet.
Okay, for me, it's Sensual Empowerment Leader.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's it for me. Yeah, but I definitely have to say Creatrix of Orgasmik Intelligence as well. So I would say the 2 of those, but Sensual Empowerment Leader, which involves sensual empowerment coaching, that is the basis of effective communication, understanding women's pelvic health, womb wellness, working with yoni eggs. And so that kind of encompasses an active self-love. So that kind of sensory empowerment leadership, that kind of encompasses all of them together.
Yes.
You know,
And I want to say, I'm so glad that Phil came on and said, I don't have a vagina, but I'm curious what y'all are talking about. And I think that is so important, even for men, to be able to learn this stuff, because a lot of times men, if you're straight, you have a wife, or you may have a daughter. So these are important things that you can talk to your wife or your daughter about. In the live that I did earlier today with Wendy, she had brought up that she took her daughter to school to some program, something, and then they were like, "Oh, you can use this sexual energy to manifest." And she's like, "Why don't they teach the kids this?" Before.
Wow.
But it's so important to be able to teach how to work with this energy, how
it's
to
vitally important.
Take care of yourself. It really is important. And sometimes the thing is, when we teach them, even at a younger age, they become more powerful. They become more self-empowered in their body, and they don't have to look for a man to give them pleasure or to do this. So I think it's so important. So this is not only for women, this is for men as well, especially if you have daughters or wife, because then maybe you might be able to go back to your wife and be like, "Oh, try this." Because I tell you, we'll talk about later about using yoni eggs will be good for the husband too, for the man, because it strengthens her Vajayjay, so she can do some tricks with you, which will be mind-blowing. So,
and it's also good for the men who have multiple partners. So, who have, in a polygamous polyamory, so even if you just have many girlfriends, many female women acquaintances, this information is very good for the men as well. So definitely join.
And we may have to go in and talk about this later, because there is a component for men. There is a whole pelvic health care for men that we could talk about on another live as well, or if we have time tonight. But how did you get into this work, Katrina? So,
oh wow, my journey started as on a personal level. Okay, so let's say about 13 years ago, approximately, I was in an abusive relationship, and many times we would say, "Oh, I love myself, but then when you check your actions, it's not aligning with that so-called mantra. So, I always thought that I love myself, but still I attracted an abusive relationship. And don't think that I went into this blindly, okay? Renée, I honestly received all the red flags, all of the glaring warning, the everything. But you know what? Because I lacked that self-love, I ignored them because I was being touched how I wanted to. It felt good. I was getting that attention from outside of myself before giving it to myself. Okay, so it was new. It was refreshing, and so I silenced my intuition. And then a few months in, it became extremely abusive. And over the 4-year period, I tried to leave many times, but I was unable to leave. I didn't have that courage within, and I didn't have that fierce love for myself to understand that I deserve better to leave.
Right.
So within the last year, I had my last son, who's 11 years now. And when I was pregnant with him, I was in a discussion group with a Facebook group with a bunch of women, most of them based in the US and Canada and the UK. And they were talking about these yoni eggs. So, I'm reading this stuff. I was like, oh, okay, so vaginal toning. I mean, just about to have my 4th child. I was like, yeah, this would be great, because it's also very good for healing after birth and whatnot. And so I did my own research, and I went online, and I purchased a book and a yoni egg from one of the vanguards in the industry. And the thing is that when I read her book, it took me like about 4 months to read this book in its entirety, 4 or 5 months.
Right.
Because I was going away.
Real quick. Let me interrupt you real quick, because people are listening and not everyone will know what a yoni egg is. Like, Phil, for example, I might imagine he doesn't know what a yoni egg is. So for those who are on here and they're like, well, what is she talking about, yoni egg? What is that?
Okay, so yoni eggs are made of crystal. They can be made of glass, of stainless steel as well, and they're shaped like an egg, and they're inserted into the canal, and you do a combination of specific exercises which help to bring about vaginal toning, vaginal agility. Yes, there's a yoni egg. Vaginal agility meaning you're able to isolate and manipulate the 3 sections of the vaginal canal. Yes. So you're able, so that's where the agility comes in. It also helps women who suffer from heavy bleeding and cramping during this cycle, helps to significantly reduce the number of days, the cramping eliminated as well, and the amount of blood flow. I used to bleed 10 to 14 days a month, Renee, at one point. And honestly, my mom, when I was a teenager, she told me, well, all of the women on this side of the family have all had hysterectomies. So just prepare yourself to have one when you're older. But I was always disruptive. I've always been a disruptor. I've always been rebellious. Back then, I was just a rebel without a cause. But I was adamant. I was like, nobody is taking away my parts, But clearly, having a 10 to 14 day period, that's the direction that I was going in. Obviously, heading towards having a hysterectomy. And so they're good for women who suffer from fibroids, endometriosis, PCOS. Helps to significantly reduce the symptoms that they experience. I've had clients as well, especially with PCOS, when after using the eggs consistently.
Ovarian syndrome, just to let people know.
Syndrome, yes. I'm sorry, yes, polycystic ovarian syndrome. They have actually started to ovulate again, and so it helps with overall pelvic floor muscle strengthening. It also helps with so in strengthening the pelvic floor muscles, it can help prevent or reverse incontinence, meaning when you have that little leakage of urine, when you sneeze, cough, or laugh, or if you have that urgency to you can't hold your urine. So as soon as you have the sensation to urinate, you have to run, and if you don't get there, you're going to have an accident. So it helps to prevent that, and it helps, of course, to help increase your orgasmic potential.
Yes.
Because you're realigning the vaginal canal, and she's juicy again, and so it helps to reverse vaginal dryness. So overall womb wellness. And then now on an energetic level, because the egg is inserted vaginally, guess what? It helps to bring our attention to our womb space, which is our power space. Okay, that's where all life comes from. Every man and woman walking on the planet that I know about, at least, has come from a womb, from the uterus. So it brings your attention to your power space. And that's actually when I started to use the yoni egg, and I was blown away after reading the book for 5-6 months. I was blown away by the transformation within myself, because I started to love myself so fiercely, recognizing that my power source was more deserving of having an abusive partner enter me like that. Having abusive partners speak to me, verbally abusive, spiritually abusive. And so that fierce love started from the inside out.
Yes.
And also my pelvic floor muscles, after my 4th child was shot, I had bladder prolapse. And so that all of those physical symptoms, my period, significantly reduced. The cramping went to virtually nothing. And when my period started, I would just go and see them there. So I didn't have that warning sign. And now I'm 48 right now, and so I'm perimenopausal phase. And so my perimenopausal phase has been pretty smooth compared to what other women have been experiencing. So that journey, that personal journey, seeing how I was able to empower myself, heal myself, I started to tell women, in Barbados first, okay? So in the Caribbean, you know, is pretty taboo. It still is. Anything sexual, anything about sex is considered taboo. So I started to tell other women, because I know other women who are suffering from these issues. So I tell them, you know, you need to get a yoni egg. And they're like, oh, really? What's it about? I say, well, this is what you take it and you put it. And they were like, what? You put what? Where? And they were like, oh, no. So they were like clutching their pearls. And everybody was like, oh, no. And so I was like, oh, Katrina.
Because women are like that in the U.S. as well. And in Brazil. You know,
in Brazil. Oh,
yeah,
no, that's
interesting, because even though, you know, there's a bad rap that everyone here is just very sexual, they're all open, but a lot of the women are very shy. You know, they're really, really shy, and they're just like, you know, when I talk to them about doing it, it's like, oh my God. I mean, I've had women that's come to my classes, and I'm like, you know, and you know what they'll do? They'll change the name on their WhatsApp. And then I'm like one of my clients was like, yeah, change your name because my kids go in there. And I'm like, how old are your kids? 16 and 17. You know, and they have daughters. And I'm like, well, you should be telling them you're coming to this class and you're learning how to, you know, your pelvic floor health. Like, it shouldn't be a taboo or something not to talk about. And this honestly is why I'm doing this. And this is why every Wednesday I'm doing these shows, to have these conversations so that people are not feeling like, oh my God, talking about sex, like to really break that taboo of sexuality. This is just important things that we should be talking about. So we have 2 questions really quick. Michelle says, I have an IUD. Can I use a yoni egg? But first, I want to get to really, really quick. We're going to answer that because that's a great question. Phil says, do you just lay the egg? And I know he's being funny, right? But that's actually a good question, because our mutual teacher, Tafari, he recently taught me a technique, and I want to know if you know it. I guess you may do it. And one of the things that he told me to do is to actually lay the egg or birth the egg.
Birth the egg. I prefer to call birth the egg.
So you put it in. You know, you put it in at night, and when it's in at night, it's doing work. So you're working on your dream work. I had another lady on here, I think last month, Crystal Tantric Yogi, and she talked about as well. She was also one of his teachers, which is how I found Safari. And she talked about how, you know, using the yoni eggs helped her, you know, in her dream world. So she connected to the ancestors in her dream world and got a lot of information. So you can do dream work with it at night. And then in the morning, birth the egg. You know, and he talked about the benefits of that. So even when you're birthing the egg, it's almost like birthing a child. And so it sends signals to your body that you're still young, you're still at that age where you can give birth, whether it's to literally birth a child or to birth creations, ideas, and different things like that. So add anything on that, or go straight to the next question?
No, just saying straight. Definitely where Crystal Tantric Yogi spoke about the dream entering, because she connected with the portal. That's the portal through where all ancestors come. So ancestors are on the other side of that portal, still in the ancestral realm. And so she connected with that direct communication. Right? So that's another level of it. And so with the crystals also have metaphysical properties. And so when you are on that same vibration, it helps to enhance the metaphysical properties of the egg, or can help propel you into that frequency as well too. But yeah, the birthing of the egg is so important. Because so in birthing, so the same way sipping the egg in helps to manipulate, condition your pelvic floor muscles. Birthing the egg also helps to manipulate and condition your pelvic floor muscles.
And I imagine treated it so they can stop playing ping pong with the with the little benoit ball. The time, pushing it out, it helps to be able to do that as well.
Definitely.
All right. So Michelle asked, and we have a few questions, so that's good. We have 2 more coming up. Michelle says, I have an IUD. Can I use a yoni egg?
Okay, well, the book that was written by Mantak Chia, that actually speaks about avoiding the use of the yoni egg when you have an IUD. But bear in mind that Mantak Chia, when he first...
Which book by Mantak Chia?
The
multi-orgasmic woman, or which one?
That one, the female orgasm, I think it's a multi-orgasmic woman. Yeah.
Okay. Because I know that is a good book writer. As I'm going to actually write it down as you talk about it, because I think that many women should get that. There's a lot of just great information for female health.
Definitely.
All right, go ahead. Sorry,
definitely.
I wanted to get the name of the book that you're referring to.
Right. Yeah. No problem. And so remember when he first brought out these teachings, it was actually he and his wife who brought out the information, but then I don't know, history happened, and then his name was only on the books. So his perspective, I've found over time, has been very much from a masculine perspective, but working with the Yoni egg, I've worked with the Yoni egg for 5 full years with the IUD inserted, and I've never had any issues. So it is safe to use the Yoni egg with the IUD, Michelle. Yes.
Okay, that's good, because I didn't know the answer to that. So because I've never had anyone use it, so that's good that you have a good reference for that. So we have another question. Few questions. I'm afraid that I can't get a yoni egg out of me. Should I use one with a string? Does a crystal sexual wand have the same benefit? So let me just answer, then you can answer. Because she also says, I tried a Diva cup and had a bad experience getting it out, LOL. And I wonder if getting a yoni egg is the same. So for me, honestly, when I first started with yoni eggs, I didn't have the string. My teacher told me how to do it and didn't have a string. And then I saw later on, there is the drilled yoni eggs where you can use a string. But honestly, for me, in my personal opinion, it was a lot easier to get out than a Diva cup. I think probably because of the material, how it is easy to slide out. And I'm going to answer this whole other question.
Shape.
And the shape, exactly, and the shape. And the Diva cup does a suction. So it's kind of like, because it causes a suction, it's a little bit harder to get out. Exactly, thank you. And one of the things that I say to women is that if you can't get it out, jump up and down, and gravity is going to help it naturally get out. So there's been times where I've had to jump up and down, but I've never ever had it get stuck in me.
Okay, another technique that I teach then, if it gets stuck, if it's not, I don't say stuck because it will never get stuck, but it may get snugly tucked away. Let's put it like that. Another technique that I teach is that you can stoop, go down into the stooping position.
Yeah, squat.
We call it stooping in Barbados. Right, a squat. Y'all call it a squat, right?
Yes.
And you just insert your finger. And when you insert your finger, you are going to locate the yoni egg, because once your vaginal canal is not, once you're not aroused, even if you're slightly aroused, when you insert your finger, your longest finger, you should touch your cervix. So you'll be able to find it. And so all you need to do is, in that squatting position, just get around it and gently scoop it out. But first and foremost, do not panic. Because if you panic, everything is going to clench up. And then so first thing is just relax, go into the squatting position, and just put your finger in there and pull it out. Yeah.
Yes.
Or jump. Definitely jump it up and down.
Or even just kind of like do the coughing.
Right.
Motion,
when you
pushing it down.
Yeah. The only thing with the coughing is that when you cough without protecting your pelvic floor muscles, I mean, it's not something that you would do often, but I don't want to encourage the coughing, because that adds pressure to the pelvic floor muscles. And having the egg in there, which is added weight, and doing that as well, because we really want to avoid pelvic dysfunction at all costs.
So then let me ask you, somebody did ask, what is the yoni birthing? Because with the yoni, so then how do you do the yoni birthing? Because aren't you still putting pressure to push it out when it'd be that same as if you're coughing? And I ask you that because I actually was wondering about this myself, because
really and truly is that.
Oh, I think you're frozen. Are you able to hear me? Are you there? Hello? Katrina?
Okay. you were asking about birthing the yoni egg, if that's not same as pushing you birth it. That's when I heard. That's the last thing I
Yeah, so that was my question, because again, I'm still very new with the birthing. I only just found out about it, but I do know in my
I thought there was more after that.
Yeah, can you hear me? Oh man, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I don't know if it's my internet.
I don't know. It might be mine.
I'm hearing you.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah. So my question was, because you made a good comment about the coughing. And honestly, to answer Demetria's question, if you're uncomfortable, use the drilled eggs with the string. Okay. I hit that by accident. Use the drilled egg with the string, and that helps you pull it out. But when you're doing the birthing, and in my mind, so I'm usually kind of sit with my knees up, and I'm kind of pushing as I'm going down, and I'm breathing, and I'm pushing as if I'm giving birth to release the egg. But now, does that not do that same kind of pressure as the jumping up and down? And I'm just curious, because it was good to hear that explanation from you. One other lady that I had learned actually talked about jumping up and down. So,
right.
This probably learned.
Okay, so you can actually, so using a trampoline, you can definitely jump up and down, because the trampoline softens the impact when you're coming down. So it's not that much of a jerk on your pelvic floor muscles having the egg in there. Okay, so jumping on the trampoline is something I would more recommend than just actually jumping up and down, or jumping up and down in your bed. If you have a nice soft bed, you can jump up and down in your bed as well too. However, when you're birthing the egg, ideally what you want to do is isolate your vaginal muscles. So you actually want to squeeze the uppermost muscles, because the vaginal canal is divided into 3 sections. Mm-hmm. The entrance muscles, the middle, and that bit that is closest to the cervix. So, and those correlate, are also connected to the 3 layers of the pelvic floor muscle. So what you want to ideally do, squeeze the uppermost muscles, the upper section, the middle, and then the entrance. That's what you really want to do in pushing out the egg. Ideally, yes. So you want to manipulate it out with your muscles, as opposed to you forcing, just bearing down. Because even during childbirth, the correct way to birth a baby is not just bearing down, not just pressure, because that helps with pelvic floor dysfunction, which many women after childbirth suffer from to various degrees.
Wow, that's good. I'm good. That's good. Yes, because I'm not sure if I was doing it wrong. I might have to talk to you more in detail after this. But I feel like that's kind of what I was doing, like squeezing, starting from the third, the upper part, going down to the middle and pushing it out. But I was also kind of like
pushing as well too. Yeah, which is actually a natural thing that you would. Those who are not aware of how to do it, how to manipulate, that's naturally what you will do. But in doing that, even without you knowing it, the muscles are still being manipulated, but you're not consciously doing it. So the aim is to consciously isolate, to push out.
Oh, I think it froze in my end, so I'm not sure if you guys are able to hear.
Are you?
Okay, yes, I hear you. You went out. But I think other people can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I think it might be my internet.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, I'm always having technical difficulties. So Tonya, I don't know if it's Tonya or Tonya, says, how large is the yoni egg? And then L. Bradley says there's different sizes. Yes, there's different sizes. But do you want to talk about that, about the different sizes of the egg?
There are different sizes. However, in my practice, I focus on the medium-sized egg for beginners. Okay, in Mantachi's book, he small moving down, but I recommend that at all. I recommend you start with medium. Bear in mind that there are no industry standards.
Right.
So what you see as one supplier selling as medium may be small for another, so they're varying. So, but I recommend the medium size only for beginners. Why? Because as much as we as women carry up to 10 pounds, those babies start like a little dot and grow gradually. So we gradually, our pelvic muscles, our uterus, all gradually get accustomed to this growing child. There's no time that anything that size, that weight of a yoni egg, which is roughly, it's an added weight, it's a sudden added weight. So I recommend you start with a medium sized egg. Now, if you want to work up to a large egg, the reason why I don't recommend the large or the small egg, because the whole point system, okay, is to be able to manipulate, move the yoni egg up and down the vaginal canal and tricks. Now, if your yoni egg is too small, guess what? You have to grab, you have to like really squeeze really tight to manipulate. And having to squeeze so tight could cause your pelvic floor muscles to become too tight. And too tight pelvic floor muscles can of some kind. Okay. Now, as far as if you want, as you start with a medium sized egg, so I recommend the string egg. The egg consistently doing your exercises, and then you get to the point where you're ready to move on to advanced work. You can tie the string onto the drilled egg and then tie light weights. So you still have a good size medium yoni egg, medium sized yoni egg that you're able to still manipulate, and it's not that that extra that you have to put into your pelvic floor muscles, that extra to move a large egg or a small egg. So that's I recommend the medium sized eggs.
Yes. Let me just let Michelle know. Michelle, thank you for joining us. So she has to go. Please save the video. This video will be saved on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe and then come back and you'll see the video there. Don't forget to hit the notifications bell so that you can see videos that's upcoming. Okay, sorry.
It's fine.
Yeah. And I like that what you said, because one of the things that I learned, and I showed, since I had the different size eggs, and the last one that I showed was a really small. So one of the things that I learned was you start from the bigger egg, then you go to the medium, then you go to the smaller egg when you're advancing. But I like what you said, because a lot of times I have women that come that has vaginismo. And so, they have painful sex. Their vagina is already tight. So when you made that explanation and you have to tighten even more, I can see how that can be counterproductive. And so just continuing to use the middle size and adding the weight on for the more advanced work. So I like that. Thank you. And we did have a question. Someone said, what if your vagina is tight? And I believe that question came when you were saying to put your fingers in to take it out, to help take it out.
Oh, okay. Well, your vagina might be, if you need to remove the egg. This is what you're speaking about? Right.
Yeah,
so
I believe that's when the question came up, but then, you were talking, I don't want to interrupt. So I just thought to come back.
Right. So I have on my YouTube, I actually have a video that can teach you how to self-evaluate your pelvic floor muscles. So if your vagina is quite tight, we want to rule out that your pelvic floor muscles are hyperactive, meaning that they're too tight. So once we are able to rule out that your pelvic floor muscles are fine, then we move to the vaginal canal. So then what I would recommend is, if you're going to use the yoni egg, once your pelvic floor muscles are fine, I would recommend that you use the drilled egg with a string, so that you're able to gently remove it when you're ready to move it out, when you're ready to remove it, if you're not able to isolate your pelvic floor muscles and your vaginal muscles, because that's really where you want to get to. Be able to manipulate your vaginal muscles to be able to remove a birthy egg.
Yes. Perfect. All right. So do we have another question? She is really breaking up, which is unfortunate, but she is giving great info. Okay, so you're breaking up.
Oh, I am. Okay. So I'm breaking up for you as well, Renée?
Yeah, for me as well, but I didn't know if it was my internet or because mine is always doing it. So it might be yours.
So it's my internet. Okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It happens. It happens when we're doing live. You can't control certain things.
Yeah.
But yes, it is great information. So thank you, Olamide. She said, then Olamide says again, since there are different versions of medium with different companies, can you please tell us what is the length and weight of a medium yoni egg? And I do have to say, Katrina does sell yoni eggs as well. So yeah, so I have her website here for the yoni eggs, but go ahead if you can, if you want to talk about that. I don't, I can't because I don't sell yoni eggs.
Yeah. So this is the medium size that I work with. Okay. So you want the length to be about 1.5 inches. All right. And then the base is about 1 inch, and it then tapers off into about 1/2 inch size. And this is about 2 ounces in weight. This is a rose quartz. This one is a non-drill. So that's basically the measurements that you're working with for a medium-sized egg.
Yeah, because honestly, here I've bought and I have like all kinds of sizes. So I was showing the different. This is like my large.
Yes,
and I kind of have like 2 or 3 that's kind of smaller that could kind of be like medium. And as you can see, they're different sizes.
Right. Yes, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then this one is small. Like this is even smaller.
Smaller. Yeah.
I never really, when I was buying, I never really thought about all of this. So this is great information, and I think this is the thing. That's why these conversations are so important. Like I have a whole jug here full of.
Oh wow!
Here we having that my jade egg. So I have a whole bunch that I bought from different suppliers.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what? I need a beautiful case to put that in, and I actually put it in this. I sent them out to like get
the moonlight
sun and the moon. But anyway. And I just had it in water, so I had it in this plastic thing for the water, but I do need a beautiful case. But anyway, what was my point to all of that? Yeah, so in the beginning, when I lived in the DC area, I was doing these classes with this lady named Dr. And she no longer teaches belly dance, but I was doing belly dance classes, and she taught me about yoni egg. And so I just bought what she had. So my original ones were from her, which were medium, and they were drilled. And then after that, I kind of started working more with it, and I just kind of started buying from different suppliers. And it's so important to really not just buy from anyone, because the energy, there's energy going into the eggs. You don't know how they're working with it. You don't know what's going on. So it's really, you don't know if it really is the real crystal.
Exactly.
That's
very good, important. That's a really important point, Renée. Yes.
Yeah.
And then all crystals are not safe for vaginal insertion as well too, because some crystals you can have the oxidization process happening, and it's actually like breaking down in the vaginal canal, once it hits the moisture. So not all crystals are safe for vaginal insertion, and you want to ensure that whenever you purchase from a supplier, or before you even purchase from a supplier, that you double check to ensure that the yoni eggs are gemologist certified. So if the supplier doesn't have it up on their website, because I have my GIA reports on my website, you definitely need to then, if it's not visible, you need to have a conversation and ask some pointed questions. Ask them what is the report number, because you can also cross-reference that on GIA's site as well too. So that's very, very, very important to know. Renée, thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome. Yeah. And really quick, I know we got tons of things that we want to talk about, but really quick, since you brought up the rose quartz, the one that you showed was the rose quartz. So there's different eggs that work on different things. Do you want to talk about that real quick, a little bit about what the different eggs?
Yeah, so rose quartz is a very loving stone. It's a favorite with women, I think, because of the pink color, but also when women decide that they want to go on a yoni egg journey, it's usually an indication that they are ready to go on an active self-love journey. So it's very good for self-love. It's a very gentle stone to start with. The metaphysical properties are very gentle, so it helps to tune with the heart as well. So that's the rose quartz. And then we have the black obsidian. So the black obsidian is a stone of truth. Remember, this was created in the belly of Mother Earth, the lava, the cool. So this beauty here is actually one of my favorites. It actually, one of the metaphysical properties of it is it helps bring to you surface any negativity within you and in your immediate environment. It takes that and puts it in your face, like, here, deal with this. So many women shy away from this, from the black obsidian, but it also helps attunes to the root chakra as well. It's a very powerful stone.
And I want to say that it is good as well, the obsidian, to release traumas that you have. So if you have traumas, blockages, it's really good for that. And it is intense. So I personally don't recommend starting with the obsidian. Like you said, the rose quartz is a good one to start with. You got the quartz. Go ahead. I just want to say that because a lot of times people, especially women, they might have sexual abuse or they might have some type of trauma. And then I do recommend that, but I said, let's start with a more gentle one before you go into that, which is good. And there are different types of obsidian, just real quick.
And you have the snowflake obsidian.
Yeah, I have this. That's an obsidian. I forget the name of it, but it's like a red obsidian, but it's like the snowflake. And then the regular black like you had.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's black snowflake we're talking about. This one has the white.
Yes.
This one is the red obsidian. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and having them gemologist certified, in the report, it would actually say whether there's been any dye, any additives have been found. So you want to make sure that you're wherever you're entering into your sacred space, into your corridors of bliss, that it is quality and is safe for insertion. Yeah.
It's so important because this is your yoni. We got to take care and love our yoni, not just put anything in there.
Oh, please no. Oh, yeah. Okay. Someone is saying I only have one. Yeah, I only have the rose quartz because of COVID. So my stocks are very low. So I only have the rose quartz in stock right now. The drilled and undrilled yoni egg. However, as soon as my country Barbados, we're just on the verge of opening. So as soon as we're open up and I can get my stocks in, so hopefully by August, September, I should have more of a variety.
Fingers crossed. Yes. Because I definitely recommend ordering from Katrina. Just from what I've heard, talking with our master, our teacher, she's really great. And I researched Katrina. I'm like, good stuff.
Thank you. And I went over their purchase too. So whenever they purchase, they get a free 15-minute consultation and lots of goodies to help along the journey. So so I'm not just an egg seller. I'm here to help you along the journey.
And that's important. That's important. Now I want to ask Ivette. Ivette said, I was pretty scared when I started with Obsidian. Why were you scared? Like, what happened to bring fear? I'm just curious.
We'll wait for Ivette to respond. But I've had clients who, no, there are some clients who will come, and that intuitive body, that goddess information will draw them to the Black Obsidian. If they strongly believe that the Black Obsidian is where they're to start, I do not interfere. I allow them to start, and then I will guide them along the journey, giving them all the precautions, letting them know what can pop up. But I'm there with them for those who are adamant that they're to start with Black Obsidian. But I've had clients that when they inserted, at night they had cold sweats. They were having like some lucid, vivid dreams, stuff that they've never seen in a dream. Like, it was like one said it was like if she was like on what she imagined with taking an opioid or mushrooms, was like she was like, I'm never using this again. And so then we had to go back and get her into it. So I can understand why Ivette would say that she was scared, but I would love Ivette to share what actually happened if she could.
Yes. And for me, like when I used Obsidian, even though I had already done work with Jade egg, with the Obsidian, when I started using it, it was a physical symptom. I started bleeding, and it really freaked me out. So then I would stop it, bleeding would go away. Then I started again because I'm a little stubborn. I'm like, let me make sure that this is the case. And I did it again, and I bled again. And I know that this is part of the cleansing and the physical process. And that's what I need. Like, I knew it wasn't hurting me. And I felt that. Like, I felt in my body that it wasn't hurting me. But I was like, okay, let me go back to something else. And I started using the rose quartz because, to work with that. And I was like, I'm going to give that a little chance and then go back to that again later. I was like, I'm not sure if I want to bleed. So, okay, Yvette answered. She said, I think there was a lot of female and sexually related pain that I think was generational, what Eckhart Tolle called the pain body.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. With the Obsidian, again, it is very strong, and like Katrina was saying, it brings those things to your face that you need to see, what you need to work on, and as I was saying as well, it releases traumas and blockages, and I think sometimes you have to be prepared.
Definitely. Because if it releases that trauma, those blockages, and you're not ready to deal with it, it could have a rabbit hole effect. So definitely. So that's why I always recommend when you're about to go on a yoni egg journey, make sure you have a guided coach, someone because there's the yoni YouTube, the internet is littered with so much information. Just ensure that you are with a knowledgeable coach, someone who's able to guide you, because you want to gain maximum benefits. Definitely maximum benefits from using the yoni egg.
And Yvette also says she also had a lot of anger towards male religions. The patriarchal system.
Oh, that's a whole other live broadcast.
Yes. I talk about that a lot in a lot of my broadcasts. So Demetria says, what's a good stone for self-empowerment? So you were continuing on. You are about to go into the court, so you want to answer this and kind of continue on with the different eggs.
So the quartz, I have to say the quartz helps with bringing about clarity. So that's a good one if you're looking for some clarity moving forward, to clear your thoughts, clear your mind to receive the intuitive messages. This is a good one to work with. So the self-empowerment, I would say that the jade, the nephrite jade, or African jade. That's a good one to work with for self-empowerment because they attune to the heart. But in reality, using any yoni egg consistently on a daily basis, correctly on a daily basis, will bring about self-empowerment.
It's a great answer, yes. So Reigning Woman has a question. Just real quick, Yvette says, to me it seemed related. So I guess what seemed related was the anger towards the male religion and the female and sexually related pain that I think was generational. Yeah, definitely related because, especially as women, we're repressed so much, in this patriarchal system. And so when you realize how much we've been repressed and how much they've tried to strip away our power as women so that they can dominate and control us, so that we're not the goddesses that we are, then yeah, it's easy to get angry. I mean, when you think about it, we were burned at the stake as women, called witches, and so, they took away all of that ability and instilled fear on us so that we're not healing each other. And this is why this conversation has been lost, because women used to sit around and pass this information on to their daughters. They used to talk about sex. They used to talk, our ancestors used to talk about pelvic health, but then they became afraid because no one wanted to die. No one wanted to get killed, saying that you're a witch and what you're doing is evil. And so, our society has created so much fear around these simple things that's so good for us, So, of course, yeah, naturally you're going to be angry, but then what do we do with that anger? How do we let that go so that now we can be empowered and deconstruct that colonization and become more empowered, take control over your body again,
Yes. And now we're speaking about the patriarchy, so we're talking about that masculine energy. I really believe that there's a question about moonstone yoni eggs.
Mm-hmm.
A moonstone that's another good egg to work with as well. The vaginal, yeah, definitely moonstone. Moonstone is actually so, like, off the top of my head, carnelian. Carnelian is a safe stone for use as a yoni egg. However, you have to be careful with the carnelian eggs that are on the market because I've been trying to get carnelian eggs to sell for over a year and a half, 2 years now. And every supplier that I have contacted, I always get a sample to send to GIA to be tested, to verify. And they've all come back with dye, and different additives. So we have to be really careful with the carnelian that's on the market in the form of yoni eggs. So carnelian is a good.
Is that the same as moonstone?
No, carnelian is a different.
Oh,
no,
okay.
That's a different one. Carnelian is different. Moonstone is fine. As we mentioned, black obsidian, the snowflake obsidian. Red jasper is another safe one. Off the top of my head, they're about 7 to 10 safe ones. 7 to 10 safe ones crystals. Once they're gemologist certified as in being pure, that are safe for insertion into the vaginal canal.
I have one that I don't even know. Oh, it's over there because I'm working with it now. I have one, but I don't know the name of it. But I bought it in Chile, and I think it's something like a serpent, because it was in Spanish when I bought it from the lady. But no, and I think it might be something like that. But what she said is it works good with the sexual energy, and she actually works with this. So I bought it. Huh?
No, I'm saying I don't recommend the use of serpentine for insertion into the vaginal canal.
Really?
Yeah, because serpentine, if my memory serves me correctly, I think some component of serpentine is used to create asbestos.
Because I noticed that it looks different than the other eggs. Like it starts to kind of get dim. It doesn't maintain that shine.
Yeah, and you need to make sure So anyone can tell you that they work with these eggs that they're selling, but you need to verify that is gemologist, and it is pure and that is safe for insertion. So we as women, we have to do our due diligence. So they have so many, especially now that yoni eggs have this boom the last 10 years or so. There are lots of crystal egg-shaped ornaments that are on the shelves that people are selling as yoni eggs, but they're meant just as ornaments. So we have to be really, really careful. Oh, what I was saying about masculine energy, DeBora. Yes, DeBora. What I was saying is that the masculine energy, that is the energy that pushes our societies. So we as women are raised, we're socialized to, unfortunately, cultivate that masculine energy more than our feminine energy, which is our feminine essence. So the masculine energy is that doing, that going, that drive. By all means, it's a beautiful energy, don't get me wrong. But as a woman, what is your core energy is your feminine energy. So cultivating that feminine energy is absolutely vitally important for us as women to maintain balance. But because the feminine energy is softer, it's a being energy, is frowned upon because of the patriarchy, and the witch burning and all of that there. But in being, that's where we cultivate our feminine essence. That's when we get our downloads, because we're just being. We've stopped going, and it requires that you slow right down. And that's something that our society does not revere. It does not honor. It frowns upon it. So we have to reclaim our power and remember to just be, and kick back, push back on that social, that status quo.
Yes. And I do want to move on to that, like talking about that power of just being, just being and doing nothing else. But we do have another question really quick as well. Yvette says, can you put the serpentine in a condom? Good question. Thank you.
Oh, that's a great condom.
Huh?
Yeah, and in a non-latex condom, I would recommend, if anything, a non-latex. Why not just put this? You can put the serpentine on your womb space. Just rest it on your womb space as well.
Yeah.
Instead of actually inserting it.
True.
I would more recommend that.
Okay. Hello, PB. Thank you for coming back to another one of my shows. Love the explanation of the feminine essence. So thank you for commenting. Thank you for being here. And I think there was one other question before we move on to just being, because I really want to have you talk about that. Someone asked, is the rose quartz and quartz the same energy? Let me see.
Oh, same metaphysical properties?
The rose quartz crystal and the clear crystal have the same properties.
No, the rose quartz has different metaphysical properties from the clear quartz. So all of them have different metaphysical properties. Some of them will have the same, would be in tune with the same chakras. So you can have different stones for the third eye, crown, throat, and so on. But each of the stones definitely have different metaphysical properties.
Okay. And so in addition, we talked a lot about the yoni eggs. That was awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of questions about that. Yes. So you're welcome. Thank you, Yvette. So that's great. And there's many other ways as well to care for our yoni. There's yoni steaming. Also, you do really well. When we were talking, I was saying how I have difficulty to just do nothing. Like my mind is constantly like on the go. Okay, my relaxing is reading a book. So let's talk about that, because I think that's a thing that a lot of people have difficulty with, especially women, but people in general have difficulty with that. And because we're taught that when you do nothing, that's a sign of being lazy. You have to be productive.
Idle. Yes.
You know, you can't be idle. There's a saying about that too. I don't even remember. The idle something does something. I don't know.
Yeah, to say, Satan has work for idle hands and idle minds, something like that.
Yeah.
That's what we say in the Caribbean, at least.
Okay, I'm from the Caribbean too, so I know we had something similar to that.
Right.
My family's from Haiti.
Sweet.
Yes. So yeah, so there's different things like the yoni steaming, and there's important like to do about the herbs. And I've done yoni steaming, and I think that it's great, but I've never worked with it. But I've gone to have it done, and you do work with that. So tell us about that, and tell us about the relaxing, doing nothing. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the relaxing, doing nothing. I refer to it as being time. So be, and then yin. So yin as in the feminine of the yin and yang. So being time, and in that being time, you are just bringing your brain waves. Hi, Felicia from Antigua. She's actually one of my clients. Thank you for joining. So in this being time, you are practicing your mind to be quiet. You're not meditating, you're not praying, you're not doing anything, you're just being. Mm-hmm. So you're lying down, preferably lying down, your eyes closed, and you're practicing clearing your mind. And how you do that, because I know when I first started it, my mind used to be like, and it happens because we're so accustomed with the doing that masculine energy, that what you do is that you will see the thoughts pop into your mind, but the key thing is to not dwell on the thoughts. So for example, so tomorrow, tomorrow's a work day. So when you're doing your being time, something pops up. Tomorrow, a client requests something. So you see that thought pop into your mind, but the key thing is to not dwell on it. So this is not what you're doing. So the thought pops into your mind about the client coming tomorrow. So you're not doing this. Okay, so I have to make sure that I have the client form ready and That's not what you're doing. What you do, as the thought pops into your mind, you just watch it. Okay, you acknowledge it and you let it leave. When the next one pops into your mind, you acknowledge it and you let it leave. And that's over time, that's how you will quiet your mind over time. Unfortunately, for many women, when they start doing the being time, because we've been so accustomed going and cultivating the masculine energy, that when they first start to do the being time, they fall asleep.
Yeah.
So and that's fine. At least you're getting some rest. But you definitely want to get to the point where you're able to do the being time. Start small. Start for 5 minutes. I used to do this when I was in corporate Barbados, and I didn't even know it was an actual practice, a technique. And every evening after I came in from corporate or Barbados, I would come home. I have my 4 children. And so I practice my children to understand, value mommy's time. So I would tie a ribbon, whatever color, on my bedroom door. And my children knew this was mommy time. And when I came in from work, I would go. So I started with 5 minutes. Then I graduated to 10, 15, and then it got longer till I was able to just be for an hour plus. And that helped me to recalibrate, release all that, the energy I dealt with out there in corporate Barbados. And then once I did that, I was able to get up and go and cook, clean, help with homework and whatnot. So it's vitally important for we as women, because we give so much to our families, to our partners, to our jobs, to our businesses, to the church, to the community events, to the organization. And we have to put back in. We have to. It's so vitally important.
Yeah.
So being time is so important. So the vaginal steaming is an ancient practice that, now again is seeing a resurgence. And what we're seeing done as vaginal steaming is what is stepped up in another level, let's say, because now we're seeing spas, and we have these spas and whatnot popping up. But before, in the ancient times, it was just done out in the open, or probably a little tent where the the herbs are gathered and you just squat over the herbs. But now we've modernized it and whatnot. But make sure that whenever you go to a V-steam or you're thinking of getting one, again, just like with the Yoni egg supply, you want to ask questions. Okay, what are the herbs? What are the benefits? Are the herbs organic? Are they, where did they source them from? And then along with the sitting on the steam pot. So vaginal steaming basically is sitting over a pot of steaming herbs, and the medicinal property of the herbs rise up into the vaginal canal, and it helps with vaginal toning, and a lot of the properties or benefits of yoni eggs, but however on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
And vaginal steaming is not akin to yoni pearls.
Right.
I, Katrina Ifill, do not recommend yoni pearls. Okay, the yoni pearls that are imported,
From
ready
China.
packaged, exactly, ready
Yeah.
packaged, and ready, and then all the suppliers in the West are doing is affixing their little branding sticker on it, and then giving it to women to insert into their sacred spaces.
Yeah.
I do not
We don't really
recommend
know
the
what
use of
herbs are in there.
don't even know what contents, not even herbs,
Right.
but what,
Yeah,
you
exactly,
know?
exactly. And
And
I've heard of, when you're talking about how it's coming up in all these different spas, I've heard of Vajayjay facials, so they're doing like the facials on the vagina, you know.
yes,
And the thing is,
putting
like,
jewels.
and I always say, like you're saying, you have to be careful with what you're putting in, like, because honestly, our vagina, like, it's not meant to put anything inside of it. It naturally cleanses itself. It naturally cleanses and heals
Yes,
itself. So, I always hear, don't put anything inside, not even douche. A lot of women douche and
yes,
it
yes.
throws off the bacteria, the
Yeah,
internal
that,
flora.
that delicate flora. Yeah, but
Yeah.
although the vagina cleans, it's self-cleaning, just like how our gut is self-cleaning,
Mhm.
sometimes you still need assistance. So
Yeah.
that's where the yoni steaming comes. That's where the
Right.
use of the yoni eggs. But definitely you have to revere your sacred space.
Right. But I think
That's
the
first
difference
and
is,
foremost.
with the yoni steaming, you're not inserting anything inside. So the yoni steaming is in a natural way. It's helping, and you're
Yes,
using different herbs and you're
yes.
helping,
And it's a
whatever process that
gentle
you do.
cleanse. It's a gentle cleanse.
Yeah.
When women insert these yoni pearls, and you see the testimonials, you see the photos and the videos of all the stuff that comes out. In reality, the vagina, the vaginal canal is not meant to clean so severely, so quickly. So anytime you see copious amounts of stuff coming out, that's her on a sense rebelling. So the vaginal steaming is a more gentle cleanse. It helps with the pH balance, helps to restore and maintain. So it helps with the optimum functioning of the vaginal canal. That's what vaginal steaming does.
Yes. Excellent. And so Yoni Tree had also mentioned the tiger's eye earlier. I guess we were talking about the different crystals. I don't remember at what point.
Okay. What was he saying about the tiger's eye? That it.
I don't remember because that was so long ago. But
Oh, okay.
I think let's take off the tiger's eye to something you were saying.
Okay.
Yeah, Grow with Nikki said, I love yoni steaming.
Yeah.
Deborah says, another thing that's underrated is having a good cry. I was
Release
recent,
it.
then I had long overdue cry today, and now I feel so much lighter and happier. It's like a heart reset. Yes, it is. Actually, I want to say, if you did not catch my live from earlier today at 4 o'clock this afternoon on the Sanctuary Radio Show, I did talk about that at the very end. I talked about how it's important to cry. So catch that, because that was a really, really good episode, and we talked about different things. And if you haven't joined the Sanctuary, just like it. It's the page, the Sanctuary Radio Show, and then you'll see my talk on that, my interview with Wendy Cherry. And at the very end, I talk about that. And when you cry, you're actually releasing toxins that's in your body.
Yes.
So yes, it does feel good. And at the same time, you are allowing your body to reset, and you just feel so much better. You really, really do. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, here it is. So Yoni Tree talked about it again. And Deborah said I will. He says tiger eyes are better also.
Yes,
Oh,
it's not. Yes, it's not good for insertion into the vaginal canal.
okay. Thank you
Yeah,
for that. Yeah.
yeah. So some people would say because it's polished, and it kind of seals it, that is safe. But I just don't recommend it. If you really are attuned to tiger's eye, get a tiger's eye yoni egg and just rest it on your womb space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome. Awesome. So anything else you want to share before we start to wrap up? If anyone has any other questions or comments, please let us know. Anything that you didn't get to say that you want to just kind of leave people with. I don't know if you want to do like a little summary of something, what you want to share with people, and then after that, you can share how people can contact you. But maybe like a little summary, or if there's something that you didn't get to say that you want to leave people with.
Okay, I would say that one very simple yet profound practice is heart and womb space alignment. So for men, I would say heart and dude space alignment, where there's a natural energy that flows between the two. So you want to have them aligned, and when they are aligned, it helps to make more conscious decisions as opposed to falling victim to your sexual urges. So very quickly, so let's say you meet someone, you're really attracted to them, and your heart is just all fluttering, you feel all good. But then when you have that first intimate moment with this person, for if you're a woman, your vaginal canal, she's not getting aroused. That means you're getting a yes from your heart, you're getting a no from your womb space. So that means they're not in alignment. Likewise, you may meet someone that from the get-go, you're all wet, you're juicy, you want to jump on that, but then you feel this heaviness in your heart. That means again you're getting a yes from your womb space, but a no from your heart. When you get a yes from your heart and a yes from your womb space, that means you have received permission from your body to move forward. It doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship will last forever, but it means you've made a conscious decision. So if something, if it breaks up, if it doesn't go right, you won't have any regrets because you made a conscious decision a conscious decision as opposed to falling victim to your sexual urges. So just placing your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your womb space. Deep breath in, visualize the energy running from your heart, from your womb space to space, up to your heart. And as you exhale the breath, visualize the energy running from your heart back down to your womb space or your dude space. So just do that a few times, however many times, and feel the energy, and that helps to remove the blockages. So that's a very simple but yet profound technique.
Beautiful. Thank you. I'm going to do that. I'm definitely going to do that. So yes. So if you want to share, if you have anything coming up, how people can get a hold of you. I did write this, but I'm sure you have other things too that I can add. And Yoni Tree says Yoni breathing instructors class in September. And
Oh, he's always on top.
I've already talked to Katrina. I will be doing that course in September. So it's going to be a virtual course, but I'll let you talk about that because I can't wait.
Yeah, the Yoni Breathing Instructor Certification. It's a 6-week class. And so we meet on live. They're live. Okay, so it's no recording or anything like that. We meet live every Sunday for approximately an hour and a half to 2 hours. And in there, we go into Yoni breathing, the history of Yoni breathing. We look at the benefits. We go through.
Well, let me hold up 1 second. I'm sorry. Can you actually say what Yoni breathing is? Because people may not know what that is.
Right.
And then, yeah.
Okay, so Yoni breathing is a technique that was developed, coined. The term Yoni breathing was started by my mentor, Tafari Sudra Kumbhaka, who is the creator of the Shaktipati Tantric Guru Yoga. And in around definitely big ups. So back in about 2006 or before, but in 2006, around that time, that's when the term Yoni breathing became, I would say, publicized. But he was working privately with clients, and so Yoni breathing it's an orgasmic Kegel meditation combo technique for women. It helps to remove stagnant energy from the vaginal canal. It helps to again to isolate the different muscles of the vaginal canal, isolate and manipulate. It helps women to hone the energy, tune into their power space as well too. So it's a holistic approach to womb wellness.
What I think I want to do, I think it'll be good to have us come back before September, maybe soonish, to actually talk more on Yoni breathing. That way people can kind of really understand, you know, and not just be shorted, because I think that, it deserves to have like a good talk on Yoni breathing. And I'm doing it now with Tafari, and I love it. And that's why I'm going to do your course in September. But yeah, I want people to really understand what it's about. So, but that was a really, really good definition. So go ahead and finish. I'm sorry about the rest of the information for the course in September.
Okay, right. So it's presently $250 US for the full 6 weeks, and that includes all information. And if you miss a class, it's recorded for replay. You have a private classroom where we have the uploads, we have discussions as well. So it's, and then Tafari also guest appears for one of them. So each class from the very get-go, you are led through Yoni breathing, because we want the instructors to get accustomed to living Yoni breathing, because when you come from a place of living Yoni breathing, is more authentic when you start to instruct other women through Yoni breathing.
Yes, yeah. Well, maybe what we can do is have a live with you and Tafari and talk about.
Oh, yes, definitely, definitely.
I'm manifesting that. Let's manifest that.
Yes. Put it out there.
Yes. Awesome. So thank you. This was amazing. This is great. So again, you can reach Katrina at orgasmikintelligence.com. And again, on Instagram. So it's easy, Orgasmic Intelligence.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yes, with a K, or as a member, Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube as well.
Yes. And subscribe to her YouTube, because she has some great information on there. I watched a couple of your videos. So it's really nice. Please subscribe to her channel. Subscribe to mine as well. And don't forget to hit the notification bell on both of ours. And if you enjoyed this, if you learned a lot from this, which I think you have, share this video, because we really have to take the taboo out of talking about sexuality. And this is how people get what they need. This is how people start on their path to sexual healing, by watching these talks. And sometimes you might feel uncomfortable to talk to someone about this, but say, hey, watch this video. And then they'll watch the video, and the next thing you know, y'all can talk about it. So share this video. If we're not friends on Instagram, join me on Instagram at _Tantra. I'm on Twitter and Facebook as Renée Adolphe. And then I also have Patreon, where I do lots of courses on Tantra. Not courses, but I give a lot of information, tips, and what you can do. On Sundays, I have self-exploration Sundays. Monday, I have Monday meditations, and Tuesdays are Tantra Tuesdays. So go check out my Patreon, which is patreon.com/PrandataPrem, or go to my website for all of the upcoming events that I might have at www.prandataprem.com. This weekend, starting Friday, I'm going to have the Sacred Kink Retreat. So it's going to be a great weekend full of fun, learning kink and BDSM, and not just on that physical level, but we're going to be bringing the sacredness into that. So check it out. It's on my website under the retreats. Go to Sacred Kink. We're going to be teaching you about consent, communication, how to express to your partner if you want to try something different, things that you can try and experiment on your own while you're by yourself, before you even try to introduce that with your partner. So I hope to see you on this weekend on Sacred Kink. or on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. So thank you again, Katrina. This was amazing.
Thank you.
I enjoyed this talk, and we definitely have to do it again. Oh, where do we get the details? For which one? For the Sacred Kink, that's on my website at
Yoni Breathing is on orgasmicintelligence.com.
Yeah, and I'm going to show that too. So if you're talking about the retreat, that is on my website at www.prem.com. And I have the information for the Sacred Kink retreat there. And if you're talking about the instructor's course for Yoni breathing, that is orgasmicintelligence.com, www.orgasmicintelligence.com. All right. So you have both of those informations there, or you can write us. You can write me or Katrina via Instagram with any questions that you have, or via or Facebook. So you can feel free to message us. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for your interest, DeBora. Thank you everyone for coming on. Thank you for participating, for the questions and the comments. Love you guys. Have a great night, and I will see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.